Radhane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Charitamrita Leela 7:673. Krishna Mantra Hoite Bhave Samsar Mochana. Krishna Mantra Hoite Bhave Samsar Mochana. Krishna Nam Hoite Bhave Krishna Charan. Krishna Nam Hoite Bhave Krishna Charan. Krishna Mantra Hoite Bhave Samsar Mochana. Krishna Nam Hoite Bhave Krishna Charan. Krishna Mantra Hoite Bhave Samsara Mochana. Krishna Mantra Hoite Bhave Samsara Mochana. Krishna Nama Hoite Bhave Krishna Charana. Krishna Nama Hoite Bhave Krishna Charana.
Krishna Mantra Hoite Bhave Samsara Mochana.
Krishna Mantra Hoite Bhave Samsara Mochana.
Krishna Nama Hoite Bhave Krishna Charana.
Krishna Nama Hoite Bhave Krishna Charana. Krishna Mantra, Krishna Mantra, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, from Bhave, it will be samsara, material existence, mochana, deliverance, Krishna Nam, holy name of Lord Krishna, holy name of Lord Krishna, from Bhave, one will get Krishna, Lord Krishna, Charana, lotus feet. Translation: simply by chanting the holy name of Krishna, one can obtain freedom from material existence. Indeed, simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, one will be able to see the lotus feet of the Lord. Purport in his Anubhasya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami says that the actual effect that will be visible as soon as one achieves transcendental knowledge is that he will immediately become free from the clutches of Maya and fully engaged in the service of the Lord. Unless one serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda, one cannot become free from fruitive activities under the external energy. However, when one chants the holy name of the Lord, offenselessly one can realize the transcendental position that is completely aloof from the material conception of life. Rendering service to the Lord, a devotee relates to the Supreme Personality of Godhead in one of five relationships, namely Shanta, Dasya, Satya, Vatsalya, or Madhurya, and thus he relishes transcendental bliss in that relationship. Such a relationship certainly transcends the body and mind. When one realizes that the holy name of the Lord is identical with the Supreme Person, he becomes completely eligible to chant the holy name of the Lord. Such an ecstatic chanter and dancer must be considered to have a direct relationship with the Lord. According to the Vedic principles, there are three stages of spiritual advancement, namely Sambandha Gyan, Abhijaya, and Prayojana. Sambandha Gyan refers to establishing one's original relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Abhijaya refers to acting according to that constitutional relationship, and Prayojana is the ultimate goal of life, which is to develop love of Godhead. Prema Pumarta Maham. If one adheres to the regulator principles under the order of the spiritual master, he very easily achieves the ultimate goal of his life. A person who is addicted to the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra very easily gets the opportunity to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. There's no need for such a person to understand the grammatical vocabulary in which Mayavadi sannyasis generally indulge. Sri Shankaracharya also stresses this point. Nahi nahi rakshati rupam karne. Simply by juggling grammatical suffixes and prefixes, one cannot save himself from the clutches of death. The grammatical word jugglers cannot bewilder a devotee who engages in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Simply addressing the energy of the Supreme Lord as Hare and the Lord himself as Krishna very soon situates the Lord within the heart of the devotee. By thus addressing Radha and Krishna, one directly engages in his Lordship's service. The essence of all revealed scriptures and all knowledge is present when one addresses the Lord and his energy by the Hare Krishna mantra. For this transcendental vibration can completely liberate conditioned soul and directly engage him in the service of the Lord. Mahaprabhu presented himself as a grand fool, yet he maintained that all the words that he had heard from his spiritual master strictly followed the principles stated by Vyasadeva in Srimad Bhagavatam. An article was sung, Sakshat Bhakti Yoga Adoshaje, Lokasya Janato Imams Chakra Sanfatat Samhitam. Material miseries of the living entity, which are superfluous to him, can be directly mitigated by the linking process of devotional service. But the mass of people do not know this, and therefore the Lord Vyasadeva compiled this Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagavatam, which is in relation to the supreme truth. One can overcome all misconceptions and entanglement in the material world by practicing Bhakti Yoga. And therefore, Vyasadeva, acting on the instruction of Narada, has very kindly introduced Srimad Bhagavatam to the living religious souls from the clutches of mind. Lord Chaitanya, spiritual master, instructed him, therefore, that one must read Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and with scrutiny to gradually become attracted to the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The holy name and the Lord are identical. One who is completely free from the clutches of Maya can understand this fact. This knowledge, which is achieved by the mercy of the spiritual master, places one on the supreme transcendental platform. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu presented himself as a fool because prior to accepting the shelter of a spiritual master, he did not understand that simply by chanting one can be relieved from all material conditions. But as soon as he became a faithful servant of the spiritual master and followed his instructions, he very easily saw the path of perfection. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was chanting at the Hare Krishna mantra must be understood to be devoid of all offenses. The 10 offenses against the chant the holy name are as follows: 1, blaspheme the devotee of the Lord; 2, to consider the Lord and the demigods to be on the same level or think that there are many gods; 3, to neglect the orders of the spiritual master; 4, to minimize the authority of scripture status; 5, to interpret the holy name of God; 6, to commit sins on strength of chanting; 7, to instruct the glories of the Lord's name to the unfaithful; and 8, to compare the chanting of the holy name with material piety; 9, to be inattentive while chanting the holy name; and 10, to be attached to material things in spite of chanting the holy name. Translation: simply chanting the holy name of Krishna will obtain freedom from material existence. It is simply by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra one will be able to receive the lotus feet of the Lord. So, here we have a statement about the effects of chanting the name of the Supreme Lord. One is delivered from samsara, and 2, one attains the lotus feet of Krishna. This, of course, is by chanting Krishna's name. The first effect, of course, is not the real goal, but this is the goal of jnanis and yogis. So this is achieved without any extra effort. So the goal of the devotee is to chant the name and attain service to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And that's the real goal for the devotee. So without any extra effort, he gets deliverance from samsara, the material world. Whether he gets that deliverance from the material world or not is not the concern of the devotee. So therefore, in the Bhagavatam it is said that the devotees do not accept the 5 types of liberation, including impersonal liberation and even liberation in the spiritual world, getting a body like a spiritual body, getting a place in the spiritual world, being close to the Lord, getting powers like the Lord. Even those types of liberation are considered to be useless to the devotee if he does not serve the Lord. So in other words, his main activity is service to the Lord. However, on perfection, that service to the Lord leads to liberation from the material world. It must. If one is not out of the material world, there is an obstacle to his service in several ways. One obstacle, of course, is with the material body. Then we have to accept another material body, another material body. So we get interrupted in our service. Secondly, if we keep on getting material bodies, this means we have karma. And if we have karma, this means we've got some material desires behind us to create those karmas. So therefore, we're not at the highest level of devotion to the Lord. We have some mixture in our devotion. So, if one attains prema, then one is completely free from all anarthas, all karmas, all desires, ahankara, etc. So, one must be liberated. There's no karma at all, no trace of any material obstacle. So, if one attains that highest result, yes, this is what happens. If one practices bhakti and does not attain prema, then what happens? He may take another birth again because he still has anarthas. But we also say he doesn't have any karmas. Why would he take another birth? So even Ajamil got rid of all of his karmas without doing bhakti, just by accidentally chanting. So the devotee seriously practices bhakti, chants, etc. There's all sorts of bhakti. Klesha takes place, karma is destroyed, etc. So, I just said that this can take place, of course, very quickly, or at least by end of a sakti stage, all the karmas are gone. But if one does not have prema, then one cannot go to the spiritual world. So one must come back to the material world to perfect himself. And that we see in the case of someone like Maharaj. He had Baba, almost free. Then he had to take birth as a deer. Then he became Jatbharat. Then he got prema. And then he was finished with material life completely. He went out, disappeared from the material world. The spiritual world. So, though a person is not free of all his karma, is free of all his karmas, even if he is, during sadhana bhakti or the end of sadhana bhakti, still he'll continue in the material world to perfect his prema. So in other words, destruction of karmas is not the qualification for going to the spiritual world. It's definitely for getting liberation and getting sayuja. But the qualification for going to the spiritual world and serving the Lord eternally there is prema. So before prema, we can get rid of our karmas. But because we don't have prema, we can't go to the spiritual world. So we get another birth to reach that stage where we can attain prema. Therefore, two things take place through the process of bhakti. One is we get free of karma, samsara, etc., as is mentioned here. And second, we attain the lotus feet of Krishna. So the perfection of that is in the spiritual world when we have prema. Then we eternally serve the Lord in a spiritual body without any birth and death, etc. So these are the two effects of chanting the holy name. But the main effect, the main goal of the devotee is simply to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. Everything else is secondary to that. This is a glorification of the name of the Lord, chanting the holy name. There is a little bit of a distinction here, because here the previous verse talks about chanting Krishna mantra is mantra sar. It is the essence of all mantras. So the name of Krishna in the mantra is, of course, better. But then we have another distinction, which is not made clear here, but there's also another distinction between Krishna mantras and Krishna nama. So often the word Krishna mantra refers to the Diksha mantras of Krishna. And Krishna nama, of course, refers to the name of Krishna, Hare Krishna or other Krishna, 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 Hare, etc. That's all Krishna nama. So we have a distinction there between Krishna mantra and Krishna nama. So if we take that interpretation here, then the statement is that the Nam of Krishna, that is Hare Krishna, Yuga Dharma of Krishna's name, is higher than the Krishna mantra, the Diksha mantras, because this most effectively gets you the lotus feet of Krishna. This, of course, is, we can say, in one sense, logical, because we know that Lord Chaitanya recommends chanting the holy name over anything else, and this is the Yuga Dharma. And he glorifies the name, and he spreads Harinam. He doesn't spread Krishna mantra, he spreads Krishna Nama everywhere, as the way of getting Krishna, attaining Krishna. So definitely, it's the process that is open for everybody. And through that process of chanting, yes, we attain Krishna. So therefore, we have this famous verse of Naradiya Purana, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama. Only the holy name, only the holy name, only the holy name. Just chant the holy name. Everything is achieved by that. However, there is Krishna's name in the Krishna mantras. We have his name in the mantras that we get. Diksha mantras also have Krishna's name in it. So that is the central part of the mantra. So there's nothing wrong with the mantras of Krishna also because they have Krishna's name in it, and therefore they have similar temporal power. However, those mantras cannot be distributed freely like the name of Krishna. They are given at Diksha. So of course we say, well, let's give Diksha to everybody in the material world and all chant mantras. So that of course is there, but to get Diksha, then the Guru has to qualify you. He has to observe you and see if you're qualified for the Diksha mantras. So the Diksha mantras are connected with the Pancharatric process of initiation. And generally they are used in deity worship. When we offer items to the Lord, we chant those mantras for the deity. And if we don't have the mantras, then we can't do the deity worship, we can't offer the items. So that's a technicality in deity worship according to Pancharatric. So if you get a mantra of Krishna, then you worship Krishna deity and you offer things to Krishna. If you get a Narayan mantra, then you worship Narayan and you chant the Narayan mantra. If you get a Nrsimhadev mantra, then you worship Nrsimhadev, you chant the Nrsimhadev mantra. Different mantras for different things. The Guru gives you a mantra according to his discretion, and the disciple chants those mantras, worships that deity, and progresses in his sadhana bhakti. So those mantras are personal, and the rule is that those mantras are not chanted loudly, publicly, and not given up freely to everybody. Okay? So at initiation, the Guru chants the mantra in the disciple's ear. He doesn't give it to everybody. This, of course, creates some sort of, say, mystical link between the Guru and disciple because he gives them a secret mantra or whatever like that. So we trace parampara from that method of Diksha, where the secret mantra is handed down from Guru to disciple, and it comes down through a long line of succession. So that is basically what the Diksha parampara is. It's handing down those mantras and the worship of that particular deity. And of course, along with that, the teachings that go with it, how to chant purity and the worship of the deity, etc. How to worship the deity. That's all carried on through Diksha parampara system. So, of course, this is not the Yuga Dharma. The Yuga Dharma is chanting the holy name. This is the process readily available for everyone, which indicates that not everybody is ready for Diksha. In the previous ages, Charya was the main process in Dwarpa Yuga, which means they must have got some sort of initiation. Everybody got initiated, everybody did that. They're all qualified. So Kali Yuga means they're not qualified for Diksha, which means they're not so regulated, they don't have control of the mind, etc. So in other words, qualification necessary for worship of the deity, for getting the mantra, etc. As Vaishnavas, etc. Harinam, everybody can hear and everyone can chant. Whether they have faith or don't have faith or whatever, even they can chant. And it has some effect on them. So that is the blessing of the name. And therefore that is recommended as the process in the Kali Yuga to chant the holy name. Because people are not so qualified. So, but as I said, the name of Krishna is in the mantra also. So obviously by chanting those names in the mantra, you can also take Krishna. So it's not just simply the Diksha mantras get you liberation and immersion to a personal Brahman. They can also get you to the lotus feet of Krishna. But of course that's not the Yuga Dharma in Kali Yuga. It was the Yuga Dharma in Dwarpa Yuga. So it's not the Dharma in Kali Yuga. So therefore, a more select group of people in Kali Yuga can chant the Krishna mantras and get Diksha and progress towards Krishna, etc. That is so. So that is the limitation on the Krishna mantra as opposed to the Nama. Yes, they're equal in one sense. They both take you to Krishna, but unequal in the sense that the mantra is more restricted. Not everybody. And the holy name, everybody can chant and attain the Supreme Lord. So, therefore, that is the basic difference between Krishna mantra and Krishna Nama, as far as technical mantras are concerned, or mantratic mantras are concerned, and the name of the Lord. So, not only is the name, but it is Krishna's name. So there is a doubt that arises. We have Krishna's name in the Krishna mantra. So Krishna's name is so powerful. So why do we need initiation for Krishna mantras? So the scriptures say yes, for Krishna mantras you don't need initiation also. Other mantras you need Narayan's name, Rama's name, etc. Krishna's name you don't need. So then why don't we just give up Krishna mantra also? And the answer to that is, yes, it is true that the Krishna mantras are free mantras for everybody, but then the provision is there that actually, because people are so undisciplined in Kali Yuga, we want to help them control their minds and do whatever like that. So we give a certain procedure called Diksha, and this will help them regulate themselves, control their minds, etc. Through this process. So for that reason, the mantra, even the Krishna mantra, is subject to Diksha. So therefore, in Sampradaya, we have the Krishna mantra going through the Diksha line. And then we have the chanting of the holy name. So of the two, obviously chanting of the holy name is more prominent in our Sampradaya. This is the main process we follow. But we don't, most of us do not simply chant the holy name. We do other processes as well, and it's also necessary to do those processes. If we just chant the name and we don't have any sadhusanga, we don't hear anything, it's impossible to chant purely. So we must have shravana, we must have sadhusanga, minimum, in order to chant purely. But then, you see that the example of our acharyas is they all had deities. They worship the deities. Even the Goswamis, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Gopalakrishna, they have deities. And they worship deities also. So in other words, we combine a lot of these processes. So basically in nectar devotion, there are 5 prominent processes mentioned. And that is generally what the devotees in the Gaudiya Sampradaya practice. Chanting the holy name, worshiping the deity, associating with the devotees and hearing from them, and living in the holy Dhamma. So that's what the Goswamis do. They lived in Vrindavan, they had deities, they chanted the holy name, they associated with others, they heard the scriptures, etc. So they practice all 5 laws. And of course there's other elements also that they practice, but those are the 5 main elements. So those are all 5 are stressed in the Gaudiya Sampradaya. And therefore we do have the worship of deities also there, along with the chanting of the holy name. And of course then we have the process of diksha going on, because we need that for the worship of the deity, etc. So we get 2 processes going on. Deity worship of diksha and chanting the holy name. Both of them going on. So, chanting the holy name, of course, is also explained in this section, but it says it's independent, does not depend on diksha. Holy name does not depend on diksha. Which means that even without initiation, we can chant the holy name. Without getting the other mantra, the Krishna mantra or any deity mantra, we can chant the name of the Lord. So it's independent in that sense. However, that doesn't imply that you should not take diksha. That doesn't mean that you should avoid diksha. But just simply there to show that the name is so powerful that it does not wait for diksha. It does not depend on diksha for chanting. Therefore, accidentally you chant, there's no sin in doing so. Chanting even impurely, there's no sin in doing that also. By any means you chant the holy name, it has some sort of effect. Other mantras generally don't have that effect. You chant Vedic mantras without getting the proper teachings, proper pronunciation, proper meaning, no effect, negative effect or whatever. And therefore it said the Sudra cannot chant the Vedas, cannot even utter the word Om. So you have to have your Upanayana and be qualified as the second born, and then study the Vedas, then you're qualified. So the name of the Lord is independent of that. It is very, very free. So that's the great mercy of the holy name. It is open for everybody. But though it is open for everybody, it gives the highest goal. So, if by some circumstance or whatever, it's impossible to get initiation or whatever, then of course you can go on and progress with chanting the holy name or whatever, and get your perfection. But then you see that in our Sampradaya, generally, they took initiation also, and they did worship, etc., and they progress in that way. So that's the general. We have examples like Hare Hare didn't take initiation. And he's an avatar. He's the chant of holy name. So that illustrates the great power. So by the name, one attains the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. That's the whole idea here. Krishna Nama Hare Krishna Charan. So it has the power to deliver you to the lotus feet of Krishna eternally. But generally, we combine this process with the other processes. So we have Shravanam, Kirtanam, Shravanam, deity worship, Sadhusanga, living in the holy name, etc. All these other processes that go along with it to support it. So in this way, we combine the processes. Though, technically, the name is independent of everything, and in itself it has the power to deliver. So So therefore, though Nam Sankirtan is the Yuga Dharma, we see in our Sampradaya we do have a Diksha line going on also. The Diksha lines going on. So though the holy name does not require initiation, it does require knowledge in order to chant properly. So Prabhupada here, the purport mentions about chanting purely. So in order to chant purely, we need knowledge. In order to get knowledge, we require Guru, Shiksha. So at least for chanting the holy name, we need association of devotees. So Sadhu Sangha is there, and Shravanam. So in the Bhakti Sandarbha, the Jiva Goswami calls us the Shravana Guru. We hear from Guru, and we get some knowledge by which we can chant and whatever like that. So in this way we get knowledge of Sambandha, who is supreme. What is our position in relation to the Lord? If we get this knowledge, then we can avoid these offenses, like the second offense, to consider the demigods and the Supreme Lord to be the same, equal, or whatever, on the same level. So when we recognize the position of the Lord, then we avoid that particular offense of thinking the Lord is like a demigod. And once we get and the name is non-different from the Lord. If we think that the name and the Lord are different, then there's another problem, another offense, including that second offense. This is part of Sambandha Jnana. We recognize the position of the Lord. And when we recognize the superiority of the Lord, we also recognize that He is Bhagavan. He is not impersonal Brahman. He has qualities which are not material or spiritual. So the Lord is not Saguna Brahman. He is not just some aspect, inferior aspect of Brahman manifesting subsequent qualities. Bhagavan is spiritual, nirguna, but he has qualities, form, activities, etc. And he's all attractive. So this must also be understood. If it's not, then we can chant Hare Krishna and merge in Brahman instead. We think Krishna means manifestation of Brahman, and then we merge in Brahman. So not only we have to distinguish the position of the Lord from the Devatas, we also have to distinguish that the name of the Lord is spiritual, not material. And it indicates the name for the qualities of the Supreme Lord in a spiritual or not material form. So in this way, we don't speculate about the holy name and think that it's material or think that its glories are imaginary, etc. When it says chanting the holy name of the Lord once it strikes all your karmas, that's imaginary. How can it do so? Because Gyanis have to strive for thousands of years to get free of the karmas, and you accidentally chant the name of Krishna once, then you're free from all your karmas. So we think imagination, how can it be? But if we understand that Krishna and his name are not different, and it has power in it like that, then we can accept it. So we have like the fifth and sixth offense like this, interpreting the holy name, thinking it's material or thinking it's exaggerated, etc. So then the Guru also gives us abhidheya, which means the process of bhakti, how to practice bhakti, which means how to chant the holy name, how to worship the deity, etc. It's all included in the abhidheya process, all these different angas of bhakti, how to do these things, but purely. So in other words, it is ani'avalapsita sunya, without desires for liberation, without desires for yoga cities, without desires for material benefits in this life or the next life or whatever. So the abhidheya has to be taught, the correct abhidheya, not mixed bhakti, karma, Mr. Bhakti, Gyan, Mr. Bhakti, Yoga, Mr. Bhakti, but pure bhakti, ultimate bhakti, as a process, as a sadhana that has to be taught. So this is another aspect of teaching. So, this we could say is called the Bhajana Shiksha, the one who gives the method of practice or whatever like that. And of course, more intimately have the Brahmanuga practice also given by Guru for those practicing Brahmanuga, which is a little more detailed. So, we have to practice purely. So that is like the eighth, then we can avoid the eighth aparad of thinking that the goal of bhakti is like going to Svargaloka and attaining material benefits like this. So we can avoid that aparad. And then with the other aspect of getting from the Guru is prayojana. We have to understand what the goal of our sadhana is. We cannot dissociate the sadhana from the prayojana. If the sadhana has no goal, we don't attain the goal. We do something without understanding what the goal is. It's very unlikely we're going to get it. Maybe by chance we get it. If you study without a goal, you don't get a degree. You just study, and no degree. So, like that, we have to aim in a particular direction. So that prayojana, knowledge of the prayojana helps us refine our practice to go in the right way. And then we understand what is favorable, unfavorable, etc. It helps us. And it inspires us. If we don't have a goal, there's no inspiration for doing anything. We have the goal, this is what we're trying to attain. And then we can gradually aspire to that and practice nicely. So the prayojana is necessary. And if the details of the prayojana are there, then we attain particular prayojana, not just attain Krishna, that's very general. Then we get more particular. Krishna in Dwarka, Krishna in Mathura, Krishna in Vrindavan, that's more particular. And then within Vrindavan, then we have particular rasas, like Dasya rasa, Sakya rasa, Vatsalya rasa, Madhurya rasa. It's all connected with prayojana. So this will help mold your practice. So in sadhana bhakti, we chant in one way, we attain Dasya. We chant in another way, we'll attain Sakya. We chant in another way, we get Vatsalya. Another way, we chant, we get Madhurya. So the goal helps mold the particular type of sadhana we do. On the other hand, of course, if we want to attain Narayan, then we worship Narayan instead. And according to that sadhana, we go to Narayan and Dasya rasa, whatever that is. So according to the goal and the particular goal, our sadhana gets molded to some degree. So therefore, prayojana is necessary also. We have to know about the nature of prema and the varieties of prema, etc. And this helps us attain that particular goal. So these three elements are types of knowledge that we get. And then through Guru. So that can be the Shiksha Guru, the Shravana Guru, the Bhajana Shiksha Guru, or the Diksha Guru as well. All three types of Guru combined in one. So generally, of course, the Shiksha Guru becomes the Diksha Guru, but sometimes it may also be different. So in this way, these elements help us chant in the proper way by getting Sambandha Avidya and Prayojana, and they help us attain the Glories of Krishna. So therefore, chanting the holy name is independent of Diksha, but is not independent of Guru at least. So therefore, one has to have Shiksha Guru at least to get the elements of Sambandha Avidya and Prayojana. But generally do not reject the other process of deeply worship. So therefore, we also have the Diksha.
The purport mentions again and again, Mahaprabhu learned the mantra, Mahamantra from his Guru.
Yeah.
But his mantra are the name. It's confusing because the same verse, Krishna mantra and Krishna nama.
Yeah, he got both. From he got Diksha Guru in Gaya, and simultaneously he learned, he was told to chant the holy name. So he got both.
But he says they are not qualified to get mantra, only Nama.
What's that?
He says one should be qualified to get the mantra.
Yeah.
So in ISKCON we have first we give name and of this qualified we give mantra.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Mantra requires qualifications. How we give to everybody. Everybody's not qualified for deity worship. So we can tell people who are not even following regular principles to chant Hare Krishna. We cannot tell them to do deity worship. So we have a certain level for deity worship, which is higher in qualification. We can chant. Everybody chants holy name. Everybody hears holy name. No problem. We give it. We let everybody in the world, even the apparatus, can hear it. Not a problem. We cannot tell them to worship the deities. There's certain principles, certain standards for deity worship.
What if suppose once they get the deity mantra, he neglects chanting. He says this is how I'm worshiping. That's also
of course, this is not the Yuga Dharma. So there may be rare examples of that. And of course, in other sampradayas, that's basically what they do. They worship the deity, and chanting nama is less important for them. But in the Gaudiya Sampradaya, there's a stress given to chanting the holy name. So that's the general process. And in fact, Jiva Goswami says that the chanting, the nam, is the main process, and it must accompany all the other processes. So it has to be there in any case, so the success of everything else, whether it's bhakti or anything else. What is the significance of what? Chanting of Guru chanting on initiation is before initiation. So this is a Gaudiya custom to establish, I would say, a formal link between the Guru and disciple by chanting on beads, etc. So in other words, he sanctifies by chanting on them, etc. I don't know if it has scriptural reference or not. It's a Gaudiya principle. Whether they follow this in other sampradayas, probably not.
Keep it in the feet of the Lord.
Who?
I think it's the Sri Sampradaya. This is
They have beads though.
I don't see them having beads.
Yeah, they don't have beads at all. Most of them have beads because they're not chanting. They're not chanting the nam, so they don't.
But there's a confusion in this. Suppose the bead is also material. After 10 years of chanting, the bead breaks. Doesn't mean that once the bead breaks, we stop chanting. The Guru's restrictions are more important. But many devotees, I lost my beads. Unless I get one more bead from the Guru, I can't concentrate.
Well, that's more of a detail. The main thing is that you chant the holy name, no matter what beads you have or whatever. That's all. That's secondary. Vaishnavas are beyond Brahmanas. Why don't the devotees? Then why for devotees Brahman initiation? Well, that's a secondary thing. The logic is that if one is initiated as a Vaishnava, one is superior to a Brahmana, therefore one can do whatever a Brahmana does. So therefore, Bhaktisanga Saraswati gave Upanayanam and the mantra, Brahma Gayatri mantra, Vedic mantra, and the thread to the men. So that, to show that they are superior to Brahmanas, and whatever the Brahmana can do, they can do. So basically it means that people criticize the Gaudiyas that they can't do deity worship because they're not Brahmanas. So, Bhaktisiddhanta says no, because they're Vaishnavas. They're initiated, they can worship the deity. But just to show the superior to Brahmanas, we did this. So that was a secondary item. Our goal is not to be Brahminical, because then that would put us in the back of the gunas of the material world. The whole point is Vaishnava. So with Vaishnava initiation, this is a sign that we have surpassed the gunas. Therefore, we can do whatever a Brahmana does. That's all. It's not that we become Brahmanas and we're limited to the material world. So in one sense, it's a secondary issue of whether you get the thread or not doesn't really matter. In fact, some people get the thread when they're children anyway, so they already got the thread, and they already got the mantra already. So that's not really the main concern. The main concern is, in Diksha, is getting the mantra. Of course, one can logically argue that chanting the name also delivers us without even initiation. that could be a thing also. Therefore, one is also superior to a Brahmin if you get a Brahmin. That also one can argue like that, but that is nothing done in our Sampradaya. Previous to Bhaktisiddhanta, as far as I know, they didn't give the Brahmin a thread with the Diksha. It was done independently for Vaishya Kshatris and Brahmanas, not for Sudras. They took initiation, they didn't, whatever they had previously, that remained. So they didn't change anything. But Bhaktisiddhanta, when they got their Diksha with the Krishna mantra, then they were qualified as Brahmanas also, and he went through the Vinaya for the men.
We have some confusion. The devotee feels that, oh, I have taken initiation from the Guru, and if I don't complete my process in this life, the same Guru have to come next life and give me initiation and get it eternal. This looks a little vague. You can be a Guru Tattva. The same Guru do not have the same Jiva will be coming next life and giving initiation. What is that? Because I've seen many devotees saying that.
That means everybody, the Guru remains in the material world eternally. So in one sense, there is an obligation on the part of the Guru. It does bind him in one sense. But Krishna also makes arrangements so that it doesn't have to be the same person. But someone else can carry on the whole process. And in one sense, the Guru is one. So the process goes on. So it's not that the Guru remains in the material world forever, but rather Krishna carries on the process with another Guru, whatever. And in one sense, they're one.
It's just like somebody changing the school from Tamil Nadu to Delhi.
Yeah.
The different teachers will be, the syllabus will be same. Now, one more question is that 108 times 16 rounds, is it strategically mentioned? Unless it's 16 rounds.
No.
The intensity of
So Prabhupada said chant 64 rounds originally, then he puts it 16 because no one can do that.
So many devotees feel like a headache. Oh, I have 16 rounds, cannot finish.
Yeah.
That looks little.
So that is just a discipline as far as coming up to some standard. That's all.
Maharaj, here you mentioned about the importance of knowledge and also one has to carefully study the scriptures. We also see the mention about analytically studying the scriptures. So, and we also sing this every day, Vidyagyan Hruday Prakash, that it's the knowledge is coming